This is called Moth Journeys. Have you ever looked closely at a moth? I mean, really closely. If you hold a dead moth against a window in the daytime, its wings become tracing paper and they change the white sunlight into a dulled, mottled yellow. You can suddenly see all the tiny filaments that make them up. The pattern on its wings look like a map of the world with all the countries that perhaps it has been to. A fine layer of dust sits all over a moth and leaves pollen-like stains on your hands that are difficult to get rid of if you're too rough with it. All the tiny hairs that protect its body look bristled by the light and sit around it like a protective shield of fur. Its curly tongue is a shock. You've never looked properly. Moths are not meant to be seen in the light. They are not meant to give away their secrets so freely. It's a lie that moths gravitate towards light bulbs. Imagine you were living quietly in a dark place, feeling your way around things. No one knows your history or what happened to your parents or how you arrived here or where you lived before. Then a light is turned on and you become temporarily insane with it. It's terrifying and lovely in equal measure. You absorb the colours you spent time forgetting. Each one screams suddenly out of the dark to you and lures you in. You blink your wings wildly to protect yourself, and your head rushes with the effort of it so that you feel like you might pass out. You may fly at the bulb, but when it's off again, you don't remember because it all happens so fast. In the dark again, your heart beats so fast it sounds like a low-pitched buzz, setting the air around you alight with the noise. It takes a long time to get over the light bulb. You have nightmares about it, the feeling of the delicate fibres of your feet burning underneath you as you dance with terror. Sometimes it's just easier to live in the dark. A moth starts its life as a grub with a face that only a mother could love, except it has no mother. It's helpless, a small white speck. Its mother attaches it near the things it needs in its life, like food and shelter and warmth, and then it leaves. It shortly becomes a caterpillar in an embarrassing stripy suit. Don't judge it, it didn't dress itself. It's voraciously hungry. You've read the book. It turns leaves into veiny ghosts of themselves. It walks comically, a sort of lurching gait on chubby legs. Then, when it's a little older, things slow down. It spends longer sleeping. It eats far less, newly conscious of its appearance. Everything looks like an effort as it begins getting ready to become a moth. It's quiet and introverted in its pupa, thinking and growing and constantly evolving. If the moth is disturbed in this state, it will wriggle and complain and make noises to warn predators away. It's definitely not sociable. Eventually, the adult moth emerges. Its wings are soft and easily damaged, so at first, it keeps out of trouble until they harden and it can withstand knocks. Have you ever wondered what being abandoned as a larva must do to a moth? It's entirely alone, pinned to the underside of a leaf after its mother dies. It never gets over such an early loss in its life. A moth would love to talk to a bird or a spider, but it lacks the confidence. It wants to go for a sugar water with a bee, but it wouldn't know what to say. It prefers to be alone and not draw attention to itself in case someone gets too close and sees the cobweb-thin beauty of its wings when they vibrate nervously in the dusk. Later in life, a moth finds it difficult to settle down. There is an art to commitment that it cannot quite get to grips with. It flits from place to place without making a home for long periods of time because no one has ever showed it how to build solid, lasting things. A moth's wings are like two fingerprints. Each pattern is completely different in some small way from another moth's. Spread, they can look like an owl's wings in a layer of leaves, or camouflage completely into a brick wall. A moth is the master of disguise. It can adapt itself to fit any social situation. And, like everybody else, it just wants to be liked. A dead moth's wings can be pulled out gently to see what it looked like when it was alive. They look odd and dull, though, like musty curtains that haven't been opened in a long time. In death, stretched and pinned to a white sheet in a collection, a moth exposes what it spent its whole life trying to keep to itself. Only in pitch black flight can the true nature of a moth be seen as it flies invisibly through the air from its past. Thank you.